Welcome to the Riff with T. Today's guest is someone who knows firsthand what it's like to hit the pause on a career and hit play on a whole new life. So, welcome, Ebony, to my first official guest and a friend of the show.
Absolutely. Thank you, T, for having me. But no, I'm super excited to be here. I'm super excited for this next chapter of our lives
Yes.
and how they intertwine and intersect. But just seeing you have this idea and it comes to fruition, I'm really excited and I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Yes, a lot of people say they want to do something but don't ever get it off the ground. So to see you actually put it in motion is a proud moment. This is
Look,
definitely a mountaintop moment.
we got a lot of those coming for us.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, introduce yourself to the listeners. Tell us what you were doing before this big pivot hit.
Okay, absolutely. My name is EA Jennifer Demonia. First name Ebony, but I prefer the initials. Before the big pivot or pause, or I'm not sure how to describe it, I was an executive officer for the Department of Education, federal student aid, helping get students money for college. You know, that part. I was in an administrative role supporting the executive chief administrative officers. It was a good time. It was a good time.
Yeah.
It was. It was. It was. Listen, I thoroughly enjoyed my federal career. The ups, the downs, the experience, the people. Oh my gosh, the people. Yeah, but it was a good time.
Okay, so hit us with a messy moment, either from work, personal life, whatever. One of those moments where you're like, I cannot believe this situation's happening.
One specific moment popped in my head. Now, it's nothing recent, right? But for the purpose of this story, because it happened so long ago and I don't remember the names, I'm just going to put in some names for
Okay.
the purpose of this. And it is work related. It was my introduction to the federal workforce. I started off as a work hire, a student worker. This is picture it, 1998. I am a junior, so I'm a sophomore turning junior in high school. So about 15 and some change, 16, and in the district you can work at that time. And I had a family member who worked for the Department of Veterans Affairs, and they're like, hey, we have a student program. You should really apply. So I apply and I get picked as a student worker. Yay! First government job. I didn't go through the District of Columbia. That's back when Marion Barry had the student worker. I didn't go through that. I
Rest his
literally
soul.
applied directly to the federal government and got chosen. So, that says a lot.
Yes.
I become a student worker and I'm working for their department, which was called the Office of Acquisition and Material Management. So they were responsible for like contracts. And then once whatever they bought, whether it be supplies, gear, everything, they were responsible for tracking it and all of the things. So I worked there, and it was my first introduction. I had a supervisor who absolutely loved me. The staff, everything was great. That is where I was introduced to my love of reading urban novels. Something that I have had to since cut off. But literally, it was a lady that worked there. I never forget. She always had a book in her hand. I'm like, "What you read?" She was like, "Oh, this Eric Jerome Dickey. Oh, this Sister
Look.
Soldier." Like literally, B.B. Moore Campbell. This is back in the day. Back in the day. She'd be like, "Oh yeah, when I finish it, you can read it." So it was very much. You know how they say it's a community.
Right.
It was a group of people, and we really worked well together. But of course, I'm working there during the summer, and my supervisor, she went on leave. She went on a trip to Disney with her family. I'll never forget this. And it was a lady that worked there, and she was a little. I don't want to say inappropriate. She would always cross a line. If it was a line there, she was going to
The
she was
habitual
going to
line
cross
stepper.
it. And she a habitual line crosser. And I don't know if it was, and I don't want to say it was out of malice. I think it was just she couldn't read a room, right?
Right.
Now, mind you, this is going to come into play. I am at the time a size 14, 16. I was a tenderoni. I was a thickums though, right? So this habitual line crosser literally came in one day and she was like, "Hey, Ebony, I have some clothes that I'm not wearing anymore, and I was going to give them away, but I'll bring them in for you. Mind you, I'm 15, 16. I'm like, I'm looking at her style, I'm looking at my style, I'm looking at her style. And mind you, she was probably a 24, 26. So I'm like, what clothes could she possibly have? And I kind of brushed it off, didn't say yes, didn't say no, just kind of like, oh, okay. She brings in, I'll never forget it, a black hefty trash bag of clothes and proceeds to like pressure me to try them on. And I'm like, and when I tell you, felt like this big. First of all, the clothes, they weren't of any, like, they were too big.
Right.
Too big. Quality wise, that doesn't even matter. But they were extremely too big. But I'm this young teenager being introduced to the workforce. And in that moment, I felt like, one, I'm not good enough. And
Right.
two, she sees me as a charity case giving me her hand downs. And then I'm not even going to add the racial aspect on top of it, right? Because she would never be at one of my family reunions, you know what I'm saying? It was extremely uncomfortable, right? But I let her know. I was like, "Oh, the clothes are too big." And the lady who reads the book, she happened to come around the corner because these are cubicles. Back in the day, it was just rows of cubicles. Wasn't no sit to stand desk and low visibility. Everything was up to the sky. So she comes around the corner and she's like, "What are y'all doing?" And I was like, "Oh." She could tell that I was uncomfortable because
Right.
of course she knows how to read a room. And she told the lady, let's just call her Miranda. She was like, "Miranda, don't nobody want your clothes." And literally told her that, took the jacket off of me and was like, "Hey, come on, come to my desk. I need you to help me with whatever, just to end the situation or whatever." And I go over there and she literally told me, she was like, "Don't ever let anybody pressure you into doing something you are uncomfortable with."
Right.
I was like, "But she's a supervisor." She was like, "I don't care what she is." She was like, "That wasn't work related, number
Right.
one.
That's
And
true.
number two, it's inappropriate." She was like, "Why was she was like, what, do you think she would do that to anybody else?" And I just thought, I was like, "No." She was like, "Exactly." She was like, "Never allow somebody to make you feel like that again." And I was like, "Thank you." I told her I appreciate it. And then, of course, when my boss comes back to the office, the lady tells her what happened. My boss asked me my point of view. And I tell her what happened, and she's like, "I'll handle it." And I'm like, "No, let's just call her Rhonda." I'm like, "Rhonda, you don't have to, it's not necessary." And she was like, "No, it absolutely is."
Yep.
She was like, "That is inappropriate on a professional level." She was like, "Let me explain to you why." I'm new to the
Mm-hmm.
workforce. This is literally my first job. So I'm thinking, oh, this is the way people do. They
Right.
they bring in clothes and make each other
They don't.
try them on. They give each other hand-me-downs. That's what they do. So, long story short, the woman ends up coming to me red-faced crying, my first experience with the tears. And how apologetic she is and how sorry, she didn't mean to offend me. She was just trying to help. Because the thing is, when I got the job, my relative was like, "Hey, you can't just show up in jeans and t-shirts. Like, that's cute on a Friday.
Right.
But Monday through Thursday, dress like you're going to church, like you're about to go to service."
Get your little sweater, get your little blazer, get something that you can
Exactly. And that's
rotate
what
your
I was
stuff
like,
through.
girl, it had my little Mary Janes, had my sneakers, put on my Reeboks when it's time for me to catch the train,
Because
get
you
on
had to
that
switch shoes.
X2.
Because you
Like,
had to switch shoes. Yeah.
exactly. With your slouch socks. So you look like you was on your way to your good government
Yeah.
job. So
That's what you were doing.
it was extremely messy, extremely messy. And then after that, of course, the dynamics in the office shift.
Of course.
But even people was like, "Nah, that was inappropriate." When they found out what happened, they was like, "Nah, you shouldn't have did that. You don't do that. Like, she isn't a charity case. Why would you?"
She was trying to just get rid of stuff and she just figured, hey, I don't want to throw it away. I'm
Exactly.
going to
Let
throw
me
it to
let me
her.
toss it to the poor black girl.
Right. So,
Because that's what it was. That's what it was. Looking at it, that was my first taste of microaggressions.
lesson too, just on the face of saying, like, don't put up with certain things that you are uncomfortable with. So if you know that that's something that you don't like or you're not comfortable with, y'all weren't friends on a level where that should have even come up.
No, no. And this is the thing. thing, and I don't think there was anyone in there that I was comfortable with wearing their clothing.
Yeah, no,
You know what I'm
you know,
saying?
yeah,
You
no.
know what I'm
I
saying?
don't think anybody at work.
This is
No.
even now, as somebody who shops like they, well, I'm going to claim it as former behavior. Used to shop like they were building a retail store. Always have an abundance of clothes where I'm like, you know what, I need to pare down. What did I wear? What didn't I wear? Anything I didn't
Yeah.
wear is going to go. And my sisters, they'll be like, send it to me. And I'm like, you sure? You sure? You sure? Because even now, I feel a certain type of way about giving things away. Even with having a son who grows out of clothes like this,
Yeah.
I'll make sure it don't have no stain. She's like, girl, I don't care if it got a little stain on it. Send them clothes around here to me. I'm feeling like, I don't want to do that because I don't want anybody to ever feel what I felt in that moment. You
Yeah.
know, feeling this big and feeling like you somebody's charity case,
Yeah.
shameful. You know, I don't want to put that on anybody. But that is my messy moment from my introduction to the federal government and
My
then
goodness.
continue to go on for 23 years. How about that? It didn't scare me away. It didn't scare me away.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's one of those moments where you just learn from it because, and it seemed like a bigger lesson. It's one thing to be community, like we were talking about earlier, because I had that when I first got into the government, but I had a community of people around me that were more like, this is how you should dress. This is how you, do this and do that. Make sure you get something nice. But it was always something like building. So I had, I had good people around me when I first started, like people to like help build me up and make sure that I was professional. But then in that same sense, if that's not your community, that's not somebody that's trying to help you, depending on what and we don't know what the intention was. Maybe it was good intentions. It was one
It's
of
the
those things too.
delivery. It
Yeah,
was the delivery, you know? It was the delivery. But this is the thing about working in any environment. You can usually find your people. You know what I'm saying?
that's
And
true.
I'm not saying that from a race or gender,
Right.
but just people who have the same moral compass as you
Hmm.
and people who have the same attitude towards work and towards the work that they're doing, right? You can usually find your people. And usually, even within an office, you're not going to get along with everybody 100%, right? You're not going to want to go to lunch with all of your coworkers.
Right.
But you still see the value in all of them and you still show up and you still treat them with respect and do the job. I feel like a lot of times people feel like one or two people I don't get along with, so this ain't my place. Absolutely not. You will never. If there's a place where you are in agreement with someone 100%, we have a groupthink issue. You know, we don't have any diversity in that space because we should always have somewhere where we bounce an idea and somebody gives you a different perspective. But if you're getting the same perspective back, where's the growth?
Right.
You know?
When you go to an office, not everybody's going to be your friend, and they shouldn't be. But it should be a space where everybody could respect each other, where we can work and, like you said, build a community and be able to learn from each other and do whatever. That don't mean we go to lunch every day together. That means that we can learn from each other and that we work together well.
Frankly, I found it that I love a good challenge. Let me
Hmm.
say that. I work good under pressure and I work good where there is organized chaos.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's a task we got to do, but we already got the things in place. We just got to. It's a time thing. It's a time crunch. I love moments like that when we can really sharpen our skills up and come out on the other end winning, and not only winning but having some lessons learned. Right?
Right.
I enjoy working with the coworker that a lot of people don't like
You do.
because I being able to say I was able to work with them successfully. Look at that.
You
Look at
do.
what I did. Look at what I did. And this is the thing when you work with someone that may have the opposite personality of you, it's almost like it's helping you to bear that good fruit, right? You know, we're supposed to, we're supposed to be patient and kind and all of this. Listen, they are going to pluck that fruit and they're going to eat it, and new fruit is going to have to grow, right? So I like working with the person who everybody goes, man, I could never, and I will watch me because listen, if you lead with respect and love and kindness every time, and I don't care if they come out spitfire, ready to, okay, but you're not gonna get that reaction out of me. I
Yeah.
don't match energies. I don't do that. My energy is my energy because your energy may be from a dark place. And I don't want to reflect darkness. I'm out here reflecting light, love. So
Right.
I'm always going to give you what you deserve. And that's kindness, respect, love, all of the things. And even in frustration, when it's I'm still never going to give it to you from a place of anger and hatred. It'll always be from a loving place. Like,
Yeah.
no, I need you to get yourself together, and this is why, But a lot of people don't want to do that. They want to push the hard. I don't want to work with them. I don't work well with them. Then that means that's why you need to work with them so that you can learn how to work well with others, not just the ones you want to. I want to work with this one. I want to work with that one. No, work with everybody.
And that's
That's
why.
why I enjoyed in school when the teacher wouldn't let you pick your own partner.
And then you had to work with somebody that you weren't comfortable with or that you didn't know.
Exactly. Because as someone who was always picked last, and I don't know why, because I was really good in school.
Maybe that was the reason. Maybe you were too good. Maybe it was like, oh,
Right. Like,
we know she's
oh,
smart. Ain't nobody
perfect
got time
mind.
for
She
this.
thinks she's so smart. I don't want to work with her.
I
I
don't
want
want
to
to
work
work
with
with
my
her. She's
friend.
too smart. That's what it is. Oh
Listen,
no.
so I enjoy working with the co-workers and the ones that maybe some people didn't want to work with or found difficult. I excelled in those type of environments. But
Hmm.
yeah.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the difficult. Let's talk about the day that lovely riff happened. And what was your initial feelings? Was it shock? Was it relief? What was the first thought when everything went down?
Initial reaction. First of all, let's talk about the underhanded way in which they did it. Okay.
Right.
We
Hmm.
just didn't know that that day was the day. We get an email saying because of security reasons, you got to work from home. So we thinking, oh, something then popped off. Like, what is going, how the
Yeah.
rumor mill starts.
Exactly.
People get to the water cooler and all of a sudden it's, oh, Doge coming in to put in spyware and put cameras in the ceiling and all of these things.
Hmm.
And me not having a telework agreement, I'm like, well, I can't even take my computer and stuff out. That is my little work iPhone. I'm like, well, I can at least take that and and I'll just be using, leave if necessary for tomorrow. So we all go home that evening, and then you had to be out of the building by what was it, 5 o'clock, 5 p.m. I'm thinking, literally, they're shutting down all of DC. But it was literally so I go home and doing my regular nighttime routine because I'm literally traveling almost 2 hours. So I'm not getting home till around 6:30, 7 o'clock. I get home, kiss the babies, talk to the man, all of the things, and I'm shutting down literally my kitchen because it's like,
Hmm.
okay, we're about to go to bed, so I'm shutting down the kitchen, and I get a call from a number that I don't have saved. And I'm like, okay, let me pick it up. I'm like, hello, and it's a coworker, and she's like, Ebony, what does this mean? And I said, well, baby, what does what mean? I need you to tell me what we're talking about. And she reads off an email she got. And I said, oh my goodness. I said, love, that means you got ripped. I said, I am so sorry. Listen, I'm apologizing. I'm apologizing. I'm so sorry that happened to you. So I go grab my work phone, unlock it, look, and I have the same email. They sent the email out at 8:39 p.m.
Hmm.
Do
After
you
work
hear
hours.
me? Telling you do not come back to the office. Your badge will not be working. You are going to be let go of service. What was our original day? Like June 9th is your last day. Up until then, you will be on administrative leave. We're allowing you the rest of the week to close out and transfer work. Literally. And I'm still on the phone with the coworker. I said, baby, I gotta go. I got the same email. I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye, bye. Yeah. The call, and I'm going through it. And as I'm going through it, I'm shaking. Cause I'm like, wait a minute. You ain't gonna do me like that. Listen, exceptional reviews. Do you hear me? Show up and get it done. Like, is this even legal? Literally mind racing. So I close it down and I look at my fiance at the time. So let's back up. I got engaged the Tuesday, the Monday, that Monday, and got laid off on what was it, Wednesday? Wednesday, don't come back. I got to come back message. So the fiance is like, what's going on? And I tell him, and as I tell him, I literally cried for about 2-3 minutes.
Yeah.
Not a hard, but just like tears flowing. And I was like, okay. And I sent a message to my sisters. I just got my riff notice, not in the best headspace, keep me in prayer, pray for us, and I'll talk to y'all later. So later comes, and I talked to one of my sisters, and that's where I kind of broke down. And she was like, don't cry, God got you or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, but it still hurts.
Yeah.
It still stings. I'm not even worried about the future. I'm just here in this moment. And right here, it stings. It hurts. I don't like to see people taken advantage of. I don't like to see people marginalized. I don't like to see people injustices. That's the word. I don't like to see injustice. And this is an injustice, right? Where you're literally saying, oh, you fired. Why? Because we don't want you no more. Not we don't need you. Not the job is disappearing because the work is going away. We don't want you anymore. We don't want you in this position anymore. You haven't done anything wrong. You've done everything exceptionally well, as your reviews show. We just don't want you anymore. And that is the part that hurt, the injustice piece of it, the way that it was done underhand, the way that it was done in a way as if what we did didn't matter, right? So that I had to have a moment where, because I was trying to rush through my feelings, and I read in the Bible, Jesus wept. I'm like, now, Jesus wept on his way to Lazarus, his friend that died, that he knew he was going to bring back to life. But he still gave himself time in that space to weep,
Yeah.
to
To
grieve.
grieve.
And
Right.
that's what I did. I said, I have to give myself space to grieve the loss of this position. That's
Yeah.
it. Just the position, because that's all I lost.
You touched on it, but I was gonna say, what are the emotions that came up days following that?
Just being grieving the loss of the position. Because listen, my God always provides. I had to tap into that grief. I had to allow myself to process it. Then I had to be comforted. This is the
Mhm.
thing. Am not the one to call people for help. I'm the helper. I'm not
Right.
the helpee. So to allow people to comfort me in that moment, that was an uncomfortable and an awkward space for
It's
me.
a hard space because I'm like that too. It's like I don't want to necessarily go to anybody for help, but then it's like one of those things where it's like people are
Mm-hmm.
trying to, and you're like you almost don't even know how to take it.
Yes, I didn't know how to. That's the crazy part. I didn't know how to receive help. I know how to give it. I don't know how to receive comfort, but I know how to
Hmm.
give it. I don't know how to receive that type of love, that sympathetic love, that empathy love. I didn't know how to receive that, but I know how to give it.
Right.
So it was a really uncomfortable space for me. I had to that was a refining moment,
Yeah.
a humbling moment that was needed, that helped character growth, that helped me to look more like Christ, to help me to walk this out. But then I was like, okay, what's next?
Right. It
What
was
do
almost
I
a
do?
moment of like a relief because we were threatened with it so much beforehand. So it was so much going on where they're going to shut it down, they're going to do this, they're going to do that. Every day getting up to go is it was the stress that they were trying to cause to make sure that people felt that way. And then when it was happening at other agencies, you don't know what is coming. And so after it happened, it was like, yeah, you get the grieving part. But once that's out of the way, now that it's happened, so what's next?
Told you I work well in organized chaos.
Right.
So, but this wasn't organized. This was just
It's just
chaos.
chaos,
So I was
which was the intention.
absolutely, it was the intention. First of all, to bring us back into the office, what, for 2 weeks? They forced us to come back for about 2 weeks because we were in the second week, weren't we? And then to send us home and to fire us, basically fire us from home was absolutely pointless. And it's like they wanted to get us into the office to stress us out so that
Hmm.
people would take that DRP, people would take early retirement, and people would, even what was the one that wasn't the DRP? It was just like a
Yeah,
$25,000
the
that they
buyout,
offered to
basically.
just to buy out to education employees. But again, I had 23 years of service. None of that was enticing to me. And I have worked under worse conditions. Hence the first story I told you where I was. that wasn't even the tip of the iceberg. That was the low hanging fruit. I had been under worse working conditions for the federal government and I stayed. You will not threaten me or bully me out of something that I have put my time into, right? So that's what I kept saying. I'm holding the line. You don't have to fire me.
Right.
So when it came, it was just like the grief of losing it, but then it was a relief. Like, okay, what's next? What's next? And thank God for those that are fighting the good fight.
Yep.
Whether it be the employees that are going up to Congress every
Yep.
day and
Those that are holding the line and
ACLU,
can.
everybody
Yeah.
filing lawsuits. Of course, the governor of Maryland, shout out to West Moore,
Yeah.
and all of the other governors that are literally filing lawsuits on the behalf of the states and the people of the states that have been affected by this,
Right.
because it's a trickle down effect. It's just not like, oh, this one person is affected. No, it's affecting entire regions. Think about it. The district, Maryland, Virginia area, we are what? I think they said the number was about 60 to
Hmm.
70% government workers. You
Yeah.
get rid of a large chunk of those, the unemployment rate is going to skyrocket. So just seeing those that are working on our behalf, it's a good thing. But I know to be true that we have a God that is working on our behalf. And I have seen it. The fact that we were able to be sustained during that time. And I believe that it will continue, you know, through severance, through people still fighting the good fights. Say, no, you're going to have to do this right. You can't just get rid of whole agencies because you feel like it, that thing. So,
I think the thing for me a lot of the times was just trying to stay off the internet and reading different things because of course when you're looking at this stuff, you're realizing how many people don't know what these agencies really do. And so when they're like, yeah, they should shut that down. They're not doing this, they're not doing that. You truly don't know the work of what these people do. And civil workers are supposed to be there through they're not political appointees. So they're supposed to be there through different administrations because you need somebody to make sure that you got the whistleblowers, you got the people that are in there actually doing the work, and those people that are, caring for the job. A lot of people don't realize the government, a lot of, with me working in HR, I always see that the government necessarily, we don't always compete
industry, absolutely not.
with the benefits and things like that private sector can. We don't necessarily pay what the private sector we got maybe a better benefit package sometimes, but a lot of times we don't compete. So it's always hard to get people into the government because a lot of times, first of all, you got to have a clean record. And usually with the education and everything else, the government's going to pay you so much for, your education, but people who go to school to do certain things, they don't always the government's not going to match that or match what your pay could be somewhere else. And so
Absolutely.
you absolutely are doing this job because you want to do the work. And that's something that I used to see when I worked at the museum is that a lot of times you would get these people who are doctors and all these marine biologists and all these people that would come in and it's like you would see this is Dr. So and so and they're taking this job that is not even close to what they could be getting paid somewhere else. But because they love the work and they love the mission and they know that this is sort of going to support what they're going to do as far as their personal mission and they are so excited about what they do that they're willing to take this job and this pay for this. So I think that that's the thing that's a lot of times that people like when you're reading comments and they're like, oh, the Department of Education doesn't do anything and blah, 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 blah. And the truth is, you live in a state that's supposed to be doing that. That's why you have your school boards. That's why you have a superintendent. That's why you have your counties and things like that. Those are the people that structure your curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
But the Department of Education is there for, like, if something is not going right, like, if something is not
Mm-hmm.
a if you're not able to get the services you need for your special needs child. So now that's when they jump in to be like, "Okay, so we can send you the support so that you can get the lawyer or you can get the things that you need." But that's what that's there for. They're not there to control the curriculum, and a lot of people are like, "Oh, the schools." That's not their thing. The SNAP benefits, when your kid is up there needing free lunch or there's kids out here that need to have those benefits, those are what those things are for. Like, I don't think that people really realize that it's not controlling the education system. The comment I saw the other day was, if y'all can't afford to pay for school, you shouldn't go to school. So you're telling a person that is 18 years old that does not have a job, can't even work, just been in school for 12 years, that they shouldn't go to school if they can't afford it.
Yeah,
Like,
it's
what if you don't come from people that have money? People come from all different type of backgrounds. What if you come from somebody who has money but just doesn't want to pay for you to go to school because that's not something that they're interested in doing?
I don't think people realize, I think some do. I think there's a large amount of people that do. But I think that there are a lot of people who, one, need to go back and just take a basic civics governance class to truly understand how the government works, how their state and local government works. I'm talking about all the way down to your townships.
Right.
You need to understand how they work and how it trickles up to the federal level,
Right.
and what trickles down from the federal level to your township level, down to the lowest level, and how it truly affects you as a citizen. That's number one. I also feel like those that have created this chaos, that is the purpose, to
Yeah.
make sure that
Absolutely.
there is always a larger poor community, uneducated, that's who's going to work in your low income jobs. That's who's going to live in your low income areas. That's who's going to populate your prisons.
Exactly.
It's this is not being done by happenstance. This is the exact effect that it's supposed to have. But to your point of the comments, you're absolutely right. There was a point where I had to shield myself
Mhm.
from the constant breaking news.
You and me both. Right? Sometimes it's like when you're already low, you can't take it.
I don't want to hear nothing else. I literally had to block that out. I had to stop reading the comments because when
Hmm.
you read the comments, I'm going to click your profile picture to go to your page to see who you are. I
Somebody
had
that
to
shouldn't even be saying the stuff that they're saying.
Yeah, and I had to stop doing that because I noticed that my heart was starting to get very, very heavy and dark. I was not happy. I was getting anxious. I was getting worried. That's because I was taking in more from
Mhm.
there, from the world, than I was from the word. So literally, I had to, what you doing? Reading the Bible? Listening to a podcast?
That is,
Listening to some worship music, listen on YouTube,
yep.
watching a podcast. I just had to stay out of it. Being a mother, that part, tapping into my babies, that's what I'm doing.
Hmm.
I'm not. I had to block it out. Now, am I saying that I don't want to be aware of what's going on in the world? The reason for my awareness changed. My awareness now is so that I know what to go to God about, right? To know how he needs me to move and what he needs me to do. My reason for being aware before was to worry, was to plan, was to combat hate with hate and want to get in the comments and you don't know what we do at education. You need an education. You the reason why we around. No, we're not. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that.
And you're not going to be able to educate those people anyways, because at the same time, I'm like, are these people even real? Because like, why would you say something like that?
This is the thing. People will cut off their own interest. Like, I don't want you to have it. So I'm going to vote against it, not realizing it's going to cause you not to have it either because they're going to get rid of it across the board. They're
Right.
not going to say no SNAP benefits for people who look like this, people who believe this, people who do this. No, they're going to say no more SNAP
For
benefits.
everybody.
For
It doesn't. It's a poor thing to fight because it's a thing of where you in the middle class are going to get hit, and even at this point, it's the way that they're doing everything. It's going to turn everything into two different classes, anyways.
I don't even think it's going to be two different. Yeah, it's going to be two. It's going to be the rich and the poor. Ain't
Right.
going to be no middle
The
class.
haves and the have-nots.
That part.
But you know, like how they say, like you cut off your nose to spite your face. That's what
Yes,
people do.
it really boggles my mind. This is what I know to be true. I do not care what anybody else does with the benefits that they receive. I don't care if they get it from doing something illegal, moral, whatever it may be. That is their account to settle. What am I doing? That's what I'm worried about. What am I doing? How am I handling my resources? Am I? PPP loan recipient and I ain't got a business diverse. Like, I need to deal with my own moral character before I worry about the next person. Because them getting punished doesn't put any more money in my pocket. It does not change my bank account.
Right.
If Jaleesa down the street gets caught doing welfare fraud and they lock her up and in her benefits, they don't say, "Hey, Ebony, here you can have Jaleesa's benefits." That money goes back to the pot and probably goes to defense fund. It's not going to go into your pocket, love bug. You're not going to get the money. So why are you so concerned about Jaleesa? We're always, what they say, take the plank out of your eye before you try to get the speck out of somebody else's.
Right.
I need to deal with my own problems and issues and whatnot before I start worrying about Jaleesa down the block. And people just don't get that. They're so concerned about what someone else is doing and getting and the benefits, and oh, that should be going to Americans.
And it doesn't go
Yeah,
where you
and
think it's
it's
gonna
not gonna
go.
go to
It
you.
never
You
will.
will not be the American benefit. There is no lottery of returned welfare money that they then give to American citizens. There
But
are
you
no
even know that in
checks
your
that they're
line of
cutting.
work, how that works. Because like when those contracts, if everything is not used up by the end of the year, what do?
They swipe that money up and
Yep.
put it back in the big pot.
And then, do you ever see it again? And that's why they always
Absolutely
do it.
not. Listen, as somebody, as HR
You
folks as
already
we
know.
are, we know that end of the year rush to spend the money, because this is the thing: if you don't spend the money now, next year when it comes up for budget, they're going to give you less because they can prove the case. Hey, baby, you didn't spend what we gave you.
Right.
So you obviously don't need it, so we're going to give you less.
Right.
So when these states are getting however much money they are in SNAP benefits and they're using it, that's a good thing. So next year the budget is bigger and more people who need it
They
can get
want
it.
to run out of money. That's
Right. And yes, and why are we upset about people getting money to eat?
right. What is it about
Why
feeding children that
why
bothers
does that
people so
make you
much?
mad? Something that you need to look at internally. You need to have a self-reflection moment. You need to turn the mirror to your face and say, why am I mad because Jaleesa can get her baby some hot pockets?
Yeah.
And why am I mad that Jaleesa can get steak? Oh, because they get real mad when you don't buy food that they feel you should be able to buy.
Right.
Don't let God forbid Jaleesa get a piece of salmon. No. Why is Jaleesa able to buy that with her SNAP benefits? Why is WIC paying for them to be able to get almond milk? I can't get almond milk, so you shouldn't be able to get almond milk. How about we praise God that she can get almond milk?
Right.
How
Maybe
about we
she's
just
about to
do that?
give birth to the next person that's gonna find a cure for cancer or something like that. Maybe that's what she's doing.
Man,
And raising somebody that's gonna be great. Future hero, get something to eat.
I feed the babies.
Just feed the
Feed the
baby.
babies. Let them eat.
What was the moment that you felt like, okay, was your pivot? Was the moment where you felt like, okay, I'm actually gonna be okay? And like what were the things that helped you through just getting to that point?
Of course, the thing that helped me was the Bible and God. That literally every day, stand in it, nose in it, face in it. That kept me. It wasn't until this past week where I was just like, I said, baby, we gonna step out on faith, and we're there we go with that step out on faith thing. We gonna operate in our faith, and we're going to leave my salary on there. And when I did it, we had a surplus each month versus a down. I said, we're gonna leave it just like this, because that's what I'm believing God to do. That's what God is going to do for us. And he was like, all right. And we went ahead as if operating as business as normal.
Right.
And I was like, okay, I'm believing this. God knows me. I need to see it. I need to see it. I need to hear it. I need confirmation. I need a letter print out. I need it. And the Holy Spirit said, call and email and ask about your severance. So I did. They're like, okay, you got 23 years of service. You're this age, all of the things. And I'm just like, whew. Now, am I going to sit back and be like, I'm all right? I'm not sure. It depends. It depends on what he tells me to do. But, at least for now, I know that part is taken care of, so I can focus on other things. But being able to actually see it and have the confirmation that I was going to be okay is what truly allowed me to truly rest, not relax, but rest.
Right.
Now I'm truly like resting. Like, okay, I'm back in my bag, if you will. Okay. Okay, let me get back to, because it's like, check, that's taken care of. What else we got to knock off our list? What other things do we need to make sure is taken care of? So once the call comes and it's like, okay, I need you back out in the field, I'm ready to go.
Right.
Bootstrap, what they say, put on your backpack. Like, it's time to ride. Do you hear me? When he called me back to the field, I'm gonna be ready.
When you were identifying the shift, and you're touching on this more about like letting go of your job title, because you were in a leadership role, and it was a lot of stuff that is like changing and shifting, and all this is still relatively new. If you could go back a couple months ago, what advice would you give yourself with the layoff and just letting go of being like not tied to your title, not tied to your job anymore?
Yeah, that was the most insignificant piece of me. It truly was. Like, I have been called to be a wife and a mother. That is way more important than being an executive officer. That should have been at the very, very bottom of what was important to me. And I poured so much into it. And that's where the grief comes into it. When you pour something into a bottomless vessel and then you go to collect and it's nothing there,
Right.
that's where the grief comes in. But being able to pour into my family and to be able to see the fruits of my labor actually coming to pass, that's no comparison, no comparison at all. So that was the piece where I had to realize, oh, in the grand scheme of things, it wasn't that important. That title literally came and went, and I'm still here. So I put too much emphasis on it, and that was a mistake that I will not make going forward. My most important titles is wife and mom and child of God, amen.
Amen.
But that's it. Those are the titles that I strive to make sure that I'm reflecting all the time. Like, I don't want anybody to ever meet me and question, be like, you a mother? I don't ever want that to be somebody's reaction to me. It's not important at all. What's important are those three titles to me. So that's what this time has truly taught me. What's important in life? What's fleeting and what's staying, you know?
You're sounding like you're in your rebuild mode, and I keep saying I'm in my creative era. You're touching on the other things that you're doing to like other routines that you feel like has put you in a better place. Like for me, I know it's been me working out more, which I need to be doing way more of, but trying to do obviously reaching in my bag, like mind you, I'm always praise God, but I'm gonna cuss a little bit, and He's still working on me with that because and you know it.
Listen,
I'm gonna read the Bible, but I'm gonna read my smut books too. So
when I tell you, and the thing is, for me, it isn't a rebuild, it is a rebranding.
right.
I'm just rebranding myself. I'm no longer that career focused Ebony.
Hmm.
I'm not. I'm more family focused. I'm definitely more God focused. And the thing is, this is how I know He is so intentional. It was probably a year, maybe 2 years, where I really gave God my yes. Like, no, I'm doing this. I'm walking this out with you and you only. I don't care who's to my left or who's to my right. As long as I got you, I don't need nothing else. And that is what truly has helped me. So when this time came, I wasn't scrambling. I
Yeah.
wasn't trying to hold on to things that He was telling me to let go,
Right.
because I was already anchored in Him. And I think so many times we hear the calling and we don't take it. We hear the phone ring, but we don't pick it up. We don't answer
Hmm.
the call. And then we go out into the world and we getting tossed around. Because you should have picked up that phone, baby. He was telling you, he was getting you ready. I picked up the phone. Now, mind you, I have known of God. I'm not gonna say I had a relationship with Him. I've known of God my whole life. Went to mass. I was raised Catholic. Went to mass every Sunday, Sunday school, did my sacraments, all of the things. Ended up leaving the Catholic Church, going non-denominational. Try. I even went to Jehovah Witness at Kingdom Hall. I've been there a couple times. Listen, I was just trying to. I was trying to find where I needed to be to connect to Him. So as of recently, I've been able to connect to Him, not just through my own personal studies, but a community, an actual church. and being able to see people living this life out. So that's why it's not a rebuild for me, because thank God I picked up the call 2 years ago and was able to build that foundation. Now it's just a rebranding. He's refining me right now. He's like, okay, executive officer, that was real cute. But right now I need you to be a wife and a mother. That's what I'm putting in front of you. How you gonna show up there? And trust me, it's harder. It's harder. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? If you would literally give me the choice between executive officer, wife, and
Yes,
mother,
stay at home wife and mother.
um, being a wife and mother is harder. The responsibility is greater. You
It
know
is.
what I'm saying?
And you don't get a sick day. You don't get any days off. You
Because the
don't.
minute you say you sick, somebody else got sick. Oh, I'm not feeling well.
And Lord, is that not the truth?
Listen, but thank God that He has built me the way that He has, and it has been super rewarding. This rebranding has been a refining process, and am constantly in prayer for patience and for strength and for wisdom. Listen, ask God for that wisdom. Give me wisdom, Father, because right now I'm out here about to wild out on these people. I need I need your wisdom. I need your peace. I need your understanding so that I can pass it on to people, because people are going to people, you know? And I know because I do it. I don't show up perfect all the time. I get the fussing and why is this on the floor? Why can't you? And I have to say, well, why did you, Ebony? Why did you? Give them the same grace you want given to you. All right? Give them a couple more chances to figure it out. God, they gave you how many chances? That's saying you change your standard. The standard is the standard. But you got to give a little bit more grace, a little bit more understanding. And sometimes you got to let them get the repercussion of their actions. The same way God sometimes He'd be like, hey, that's what you did coming back to bite you in the butt. God will never cross your will. He will never make you do something. Absolutely not. You have to come to the point where you like, all right, God, get rid of it. Like me, I had to say, listen, God, get that urban fiction up off me. Because
Out of
because
you.
listen, I'm reading it and I'm like, well, my man don't do that. He don't show up with Tiffany boxes. He ain't bought me no Chanel. Now, mind you, this is a fictional character that somebody then wrote. And I'm comparing it to a real life man that will throw himself in front of a lion for me. Like, how dare I? So that's I had to say, hey God, take that out of me, because I'm starting to get contempt. And I don't want contempt. I want to be content, but I don't want contempt. So move that up out of here. And the thing is, it's plenty of Christian fiction, but it ain't hitting like that. So I just leave it alone. I just leave it alone. Listen, when I tell you the Bible got some stories. Do you
It
hear
is.
me?
That's so funny that you say that, because I remember when I used to work in the museum that I had a coworker there, and he was an older man. He used to tell me all the time. He used to be like, "You up here reading stuff like this? You don't need to be reading that. Read the Bible." He said they got all the stuff. They got romance. They got drama. And you want your smut? The smut's in the Bible too. I was like, "Oh my God." He used to
It's
crack me up, but I was like, "It's so true.
It
It is.
is so
It is
true.
so true."
Listen, and the fact that it is real.
Yes.
Going through and reading it, and it is so real, and it teaches you so much about yourself. It teaches you so much more about the character of God. Absolutely, that's where I go when I need something. And even TV,
Hmm.
a lot of the shows that I used to watch, I don't watch no more. And this is the thing, it's not even not, at least for me, because I can't speak on anybody's
Hmm.
situation but mine. It hasn't been a knock all the way down. If anything, this has made me truly sit in reflection of all that I've been through before. You know,
Right.
it's a song, Never Lost a Battle. And I can literally sit and say, God has never lost a battle in my life. Never, because I'm still here.
Hmm.
I'm still here and I'm still thriving. And my prayers are still being answered. I'm living in one of my prayers right now. I wanted to be a wife and a mother. I'm a wife and a mother. Like, how can I curse now that I'm living in the prayer?
Not to say that this is the way that you would have chose for this to happen.
You're right. I wouldn't have chosen to lose my job, but am I still being taken care of?
Yeah.
Are the provisions still there? Is the protection still there? Is the resources still there? Is the love and the comfort still there? Now, picture if this would have happened and I had no faith. Now, that I wouldn't wish on anybody, because anxiety is going to come. But not having this to combat it, come on now.
You're right.
I would be lost.
Yeah, lost out here in the world by yourself.
I've been on somebody's dope, somebody's liquor, somebody's bed, somebody's couch. You know what I'm saying? There are so many more vices that I could have turned to if not for my faith. Constant praise. Like, you really out here showing out. You really giving me a testimony to tell these people, nah, listen, the God that we serve, he is here ready, willing, able, and excited to show up on your behalf. Just have faith, believe, come to him, repent, turn from your sinful ways. But again, I still have those moments where I have to apologize to people and I got to go to God and repent. Be like, Lord, help me with the frustration. Help me in those moments when I get frustrated, I get angry, I get irritable. Those are the moments where I'm just like, Father, please listen, pour into me.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to do, especially as moms. I heard somebody say that you need to parent from your knees, and that is true.
That is true.
Always, because either we on our knees because we serving and them, let me get you this, let me do that. You got to get eye level with them when you talking to these toddlers, because other than that, they don't hear you. It's like your voice doesn't travel down. You have to get on their level. And then the rest of the time is literally asking God, listen, supply, because you said you'll supply all my needs. I need you to give me patience.
What would be your advice for somebody going through the layoffs, the risks, and getting fired, people in other situations? Because it's not just happening in the federal sector; it is definitely happening other places. So, what would be the advice that you would give someone going through the same thing?
Listen, let me go to work. I'm gonna turn to James chapter 1. We ain't even got to go deep into James. Listen, we ain't got to go deep in. We're gonna go to James chapter 1, verse 12, right? And this is the ESV because we're gonna keep it plain. I'm gonna give it to you direct. It says, blessed is the man who remains steadfast under trial. For when he has stood the test, he will receive the crown of life, which God has promised to those who love him. Listen, this here is temporary. This life is temporary. That's what we need to realize. Trouble don't last always. This is temporary. We focus on something bigger, eternal. The end game, the long game. We playing the long game, right? And that's what we have to remember. We have to remember the times where God showed up all the time. And I'm talking to believers and non-believers. Because non-believers, if you sit and think for a while, and people like to call it a coincidence or the universe and karma. No, baby, that's God. Go on and admit it. It's God. And just reflect on those times where you have always gotten over. You had to have been able to get through those trials and those tribulations because you're still here. You're still standing. So if you got through them in the past, you'll get through them now. Am I saying that this isn't a horrible situation and it doesn't hurt and you're not allowed to grieve and you need to pull yourself up by your bootstraps? No. You need to depend on your God. You need to depend on your community. And you may look around and say, well, my family, well, that's not the community you need to be looking into. Because I guarantee you it's someone out there waiting for you so they can give you their yes.
You're right.
There's somebody that God has already moved on their spirit. They were just waiting for you to move so that they can move and y'all can move together and you can get what you need. And that's what I'm going to tell people. Stand on your faith. Know that this is temporary. This life is temporary. This situation is temporary. All of it is. But we need to operate as if we need to operate for eternity. Love him. Still move in accordance to his word. When it doesn't make sense, still do it. Cause I tell you, sometimes I'll be like, what? You want me to do what? Listen, one time he had me buck a U in the middle of a busy intersection to hand somebody some money. Okay, I'm gonna do it. You say so. All right, I got you. Now, this is before I knew if the other checks was gonna clear. Do a lot with that.
Right.
Okay. I'm gonna be obedient. Listen, I'm gonna be obedient every time. It's gonna come. Okay, I'm gonna do it. I think that's something that people need to realize. Sometimes it's just being seen as human that people want, being seen as worthy of conversation, being worthy of eye contact. You know what I'm saying? Not just, oh, let me turn my head. I don't. No, make eye contact. Hello, how are you doing?
Right.
You know, they are still God's creation.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We have to approach people with humility and love and respect, and that's something that people just don't do nowadays. I'm still showing up the way I'm showing up. I'm still going to say, hey, how you doing? I mean, because if I show up angry, if I show up bitter, if I show up resentful, if I show up retaliatory, it's proven your misconceptions about me right. Right? So what I'm going to always do is lead with love. And this is the thing, when I say hello to people, literally make eye contact with them, be like, hi, and they don't speak back, that's on you.
Right.
That's your account to settle, not mine. You got to deal with that, not me. I'm still going to lead with love. And that's what people need to do. They just need to lead with love. And they're not doing that. They leading with everything else. Selfish ambition and anger and bitterness and all of the things. And all we can do is pray for them. Literally
Right.
pray and continue to be the light in the world that we're supposed to be.
A lot of times you got to approach people where they are and really just be above.
Oh, but this is the thing. We aren't all supposed to have the same mindset and the
Right.
same perspective, but we're all supposed to be willing and open to hear others.
Hmm.
Like, I can listen to you air out your grievances and everything, but I have to realize that that is from your perspective. And on things that aren't aligned with my moral belief, I'm going to say, oh, that's not how I feel and how I believe. And this is what I feel to believe to be true or whatever. I'm never going to say you are wrong. Unless you say, Abby, you have on a white shirt and I see I have on a black shirt. That's factual. We can literally argue that. No, this is actually black. It's not white. But your perception of the way that the world works is based on your life experiences.
Exactly.
So when I see people who are angry at someone based on their skin color, then I'm looking for the deeper meaning. Like what has been sown into you, or what did you experience that make you feel this way? Like,
Right.
where is this coming from? Because you've taken a whole group of people. So what was your experience with someone of that group that makes you
Right.
feel that way? It's like, I realize that people's life experiences shape their mindset now.
Mhm.
So when I see people with racist, just not just race, because it's not just race, where they don't like people based on their gender, based on their sexual orientation, based on their religion, based on where they were born, whatever it may be. I know that there is a deeper issue there that has nothing to do with where the hate is being poured at, but where it's coming from. Right? So those people, I literally look and I feel sorry for them, because they missing the big picture. Like I said, we focus on eternity. This is temporary. I mean, you believers, you think you're going to heaven and some of these people ain't gonna be there?
Right.
Come on now.
And it's the energy for me because I'm always a person, I'm about people's energy. I'll tell you in a minute if they just feel heavy to me. Not that I can't deal with them. It's just more so like I can't invest too much into that. So it's because if you're not right, that's on you. And then at the same time, like I can give you some of my light, but I can't take away your darkness. And that's something that you got to deal with.
Yeah, absolutely. But that's what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to just be light. We're supposed to be light in dark places. Now, if people choose to leave those dark places because of us shining a light, amen, hallelujah. Hell has lost another one, right?
Hmm.
But if they choose to stay in that darkness, all we can do is continue to be that light. I saw somebody post, it was like a podcast, a Christian male podcast, and the guy was saying, because I think one guy was an evangelist. He was like, how do you feel, when, people don't give their life to Christ? Like, you've evangelized, you told them all of the things, and they don't say the sinner's prayer and they don't get saved. How do you feel? And he was like, that's not my job. My job is to plant the seed. Somebody else's job may be to water it. God is going to do the harvesting. Like, I'm literally just planting seeds. I'm not there to do all of the work. The other person has some work that they have to do. That isn't my goal. It's beautiful to see, but my goal is simply to plant the seed. And I think that's what we have to realize. We're literally just seed planters. It's not the end. It's the end of that and the beginning of something else. Now, what this something else is, who knows? But it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be fruitful. I'm claiming that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be fruitful.
Okay, so now we're going to go with the rapid fire. Something fun, something light, just to wrap us up.
Okay.
Rapid fire questions. Your dream job, if money didn't matter, what would your dream job be?
Goodness. Believe it or not, I would probably be a social worker. But my sisters told me, she was like, I mean, don't do that because you're going to have kids all up and through your house. You're going to be taking them home, up at the store, buying them stuff. But that would literally be my dream job, taking people from bad situations and making them better. To where it's not, oh, we're going to hold a gala. No, I want to be in the trenches. You know, I want to be helping these people.
I could definitely see that.
You know, I was raised in that type of area. You know, stuff like that don't scare me. You know, what they call them YNs now? They're my little cousins.
No.
They're my little cousins.
Okay, so
I ask for them.
What is your go-to comfort food?
My goodness. It's a mix between sushi or like tacos.
Okay.
Like I'm Asian or I'm Mexican. Like, you know, most people probably think I would say something like chicken. No, I can fix that. I love me a good taco situation or sushi. Like, I make an awesome at-home sushi bake when I want that sushi taste, but I ain't trying to pay them sushi prices because y'all getting ridiculous for $20 a roll. Stop it. And also, I made birria beef the other day so that I can make birria tacos, and they.
Well, you know we love tacos here, so
yeah. But those I can't really choose a comfort food where it's like, oh, because back in the day it used to be egg foo young. Let me tell you, back when I was eating, like when I could put it away, shrimp egg foo young with extra dark gravy, 3 wings fried hard, and ginger ale. Listen, and my rice for my egg foo young had to be shrimp fried rice. You know, plain white rice. So I already got a meal on top of a meal with a meal as a side dish. And I'm washing it down with a ginger ale. That was an egg roll. I had to get an egg roll. Let me tell you something, and I ain't gonna tell you I make a mean egg foo young, because during COVID, I couldn't get it like I wanted to. I said, let me make this myself, and tore it up. I ain't made it in a while. I need to, because that's a high protein food. An egg foo young will get you right every time. Yes, that is my comfort. That is my comfort food. Egg foo young. Now I ain't had it in a minute, but yeah, egg foo young. I'll go with that. Final answer. But yeah, what else you got for me?
What is one book? This is the last one. What's one book, one quote, or a mantra that you live by?
A mantra that I live by is leave people better than I found them. I don't ever want to encounter somebody and leave them worse than how I found them.
Yeah.
Now, I may another way of saying it is do no harm. I don't want to do harm to people. I don't want to do harm to situations. I want to come in and I want to help. I want to not necessarily always be able to fix, but if I can fix something, I can help you fix something. I can teach you a skill so that it can get you out of something. That's me. Do no harm. Do no harm. And the crazy thing is, I think it's because of my my former disposition. I didn't always come off smiling and bubbly, so people would be slow to approach me, right? So then when they would hear from somebody else that I was helpful, they'd be like, what? Ebonie? Nah, she give off. But then when they would come to me and they'd be like, get an introduction, you know, that bridge, somebody would bring them to me and say, oh, this is Ebonie, she can help you with da-da-da. And I turn around, I'm like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. And they like, wait a minute. And I had to learn, it's a skill, takes time to develop. That you literally have to have an open personality. You know how people say the rest in B face? I had to put that thing on the shelf. Like I literally did. Now mind you, there are moments when I'm in deep thought and I look unapproachable, and you probably shouldn't approach me when I'm in deep thought, because I'm in deep thought. I'm thinking. right? But the rest of the time, I try to have an open disposition so people can come to me with things that they may need help with, so I can be that bridge to somebody to whatever resource they may need, or whatever person they may need, or just being that ear that they need to hear them, to be that safe space for them. So yeah, definitely do no harm. That is my mantra. I don't want to do harm. I don't want to leave you worse off than when I found you. And if I can help you, in the words of all the great Chick-fil-A workers, it is my pleasure.
Yes. So this was honestly the realest and the best interview. So thank you for being open. Thank you for being messy with me. Thank you for being motivated with me. And
messy.
I don't
It
think so.
wasn't messy.
I don't think so.
It wasn't messy. Listen, we will wait to see what the comments reveal.
That's
because
exactly
how
what
we
it will be.
perceive something may not be. Because they may be like, what's she talking about? Why she talking? We need to see what the people say.
Right. That's what we'll see.
And
We'll see
see
what the
how
people
it's
say. So
received.
maybe motivational, maybe inspirational, maybe not too much mess. Just a little bit on the mess we have.
A little bit. But
A little bit.
I hope that whoever encounters this podcast, this video, whatever, that they leave walking away with a better understanding of what your current and former federal workers are going through, how we're getting through it, and that God has bigger plans in store for us.
Mm-hmm.
We're a piece of a larger puzzle.
Absolutely.
We have to sometimes take a step back. I hope they're understanding that this isn't forever. If they're having to going through this with us,
right.
Keep a fight.
Then start.
If they're going through it with us, stay strong, stay planted in your faith, and if you do not have faith, go get you some.
Mm-hmm.
Go, come on. I'm telling you, burden is light over here, champ. It is light. It is light. The yoke, it's easy over here, my friend. So yeah.
Yes.
I hope people, it's well received, and so. it's well.
Yes, I hope so. I hope so. Everybody, I hope you all hear that if you're going through similar things and you want to be attached to us, just go ahead and hit us up. We got the Facebook page, Riff with T. We got IG, Riff with T. So follow us there. That's where you're going to definitely hear our stories and hear way more from us. And keep the conversation going. There's so many things here that we've talked about, and so many more things that we will continue to speak on. But then also be an ear for other folks. So we're here to build our community. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being my guest.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I'm so honored.
And my friend to the show, my friend, period. So you will be seeing Miss EJ again. So thank you. Until next time.
Yes, until next time.